Hi, welcome back to Financial Minds Meet the Experts. I'm your host, Jamie Agostino. On this podcast, we're joined by financial industry experts to talk about topics, trends, and themes that credit union professionals need to know about. Today, we are sitting down with Dohnia Dorman with the African American Credit Union Coalition. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. But before we get started, would you mind telling our listeners just a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Hi, Jamie, and hi, community. I'm Dohnia Dorman, and I serve as the Chief Experience Officer for AACUC. I've been in our credit union movement, my goodness, probably upwards of 15 years, having served as a marketing person and then in operations and project management. So I've been able to do a little bit of everything, and that really prepared me to serve in this role with the African American Credit Union Coalition. I've been officially on the team for the last 2 years, but actually was introduced to the AACUC a few years ago during the pandemic and with our annual conference. So I love credit unions. I love everything that we stand for people helping people. And it's great now to be in the system partner space to, again, really leverage the people helping people concept in a different way.
All right, wonderful. Well, could you tell me just a little bit about the African American Credit Union Coalition? What's the history behind it? What's your mission?
Absolutely. So the AACUC, I'll just use the shorthand. We were founded in 1998, and really we started off, we like to say, with a head nod. So there were quite a few people that attended the Governmental Affairs Conference in DC years back. And at that time, there were few African Americans that attended. And so within the African American community, we often give a head nod just to acknowledge and say hello. And so they decided to meet and then to meet regularly and recognize there was a gap or a void in the credit union space for people of color or African Americans to come together and just have a network. And so from that, the AACUC was born, and our mission is to strengthen diversity and inclusion in the global credit union community. And we do that through professional development, our events, and also some advocacy.
Right. How would someone go about, becoming a member of the association, and what are the membership requirements to join?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked that, because while the AACUC was born out of these African American leaders, I'm so proud of the organization today. We are probably a network of 1,500 individuals strong, and the diversity of our membership is really something that is compelling between allies and just anyone who's interested in our mission, which again is to foster and develop diversity and inclusion. And so anyone can join AACUC, whether that is a credit union professional, a non-credit union professional, someone within the financial services environment. But honestly, our members are everyone from, again, professionals to regulators, to retirees and board and supervisory committee members. And so fortunately, we have two different pathways of membership. You can join as an individual, but better yet, organizations and credit unions that really see the value of AACUC, they can be members at an organizational level. And so that affords, especially credit unions and organizations, up to 100 team members within their organization get the benefit of being an AACUC member. And of course, we have some long-term members and partners. We call them our corporate partners, and we're appreciative to them. They help fund our programs and operations, and they commit 5-year agreements, and sometimes as high as $125,000 a year to $25,000. So they really are invested, know the value. But overall, membership is open. It's a 12-month membership, and we just love to bring on new people so that they can network and be a part of the family.
All right. I also see, I think I saw online, you also have several regional chapters. Could you tell me more about these chapters and what they do?
Absolutely. So because AACUC has grown, and it's always been a national organization, but really to have more of that local experience, we've now grown to 5 regional chapters. And so those chapters are a benefit of being a member of AACUC, and they're all designed geographically. So we have a southern region, eastern region, Midwest, West Coast, and Texas Texas is, big enough to have their own regional chapter, and perhaps in the future we will continue to grow. But what that does is really twofold. One, it allows individuals who want to take on a volunteer leadership position an opportunity to lead, whether that's as a chapter president, a secretary, treasurer, membership person. There's always that safe place to learn how to be a more effective boards person or a volunteer. And then on the flip side, for just the member, it allows them to have, again, that more local experience. And so our chapters do a really good job of hosting different events throughout the year, whether that's virtual or in person, again, to bring that national spirit to a more regional tone.
Okay. All right. Could you also tell me just a little bit about your mentorship committee or that's offered there to the members of the AACUC?
Yes, exactly. So our mentorship program is one of probably 5 active programs that we have now. AACUC was really founded on the principles of scholarship, mentorship, and internship. And while we still offer scholarships and are hoping to bring our internship program back online, the mentorship program is fully active and a wonderful program, legacy program of ours. And it runs for 6 months. And actually, applications are open now, whether you want to be a mentor or a mentee. And it is exclusive to AACUC members. And so they have the opportunity to submit their application and be paired with someone who either has a similar background or they have similar goals. Would really be a great champion for this person. And actually, it goes both ways. I know I've heard that, of course, the mentees learn so much from someone who's been in the movement for so long, but also the mentors, they learn from their mentee and they have the opportunity to just feed and pour into that next generation in terms of their experience and all the things that they've encountered as a professional in this space. And so the application process closes at the end of the year. Actually, probably January 1st or 2nd, but it will start in February and it runs for 6 months. And so at the beginning of the year, that's when we do the matching. And it's a commitment of meeting every so often during that 6-month period, having those conversations with your mentor and mentee, setting goals, having that accountability partner. And at the end of it, really having someone who knows you and can advocate for you or sponsor you for different opportunities. And again, another way just to network not only with the AACUC community, but the credit union at large.
All right. So, Dohnia, in your opinion, why should credit unions encourage their employees to join an association like the AACUC?
Yes, great question. So I would say organizations should encourage membership with AACUC for multiple reasons. One, just affiliation and alignment with our mission, right? We know that the 8th cooperative principle is about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we know that our credit unions all subscribe to our cooperative principles. So what better way to say, yes, I am not only an advocate of DEI, but our cooperative principles in total, than to be an organization member of AACUC. But on a tactical level, having your employees know that that is essentially an employee benefit, you're offering them a pathway to get to know other individuals, to network, to build their competencies. Like I said, I am a big fan of being a member of an association or a nonprofit, because that's where you can, I think the phrase is cut your teeth on being more effective, whether that's as a volunteer or upskilling in a certain way. You're able to do that in a safe space. And I think the programs and the events and the opportunities that AACUC affords our members allows them to do that. So there are definitely concrete benefits of being a member, being affiliated with AACUC. Like I mentioned, mentorship is just one of many programs that we offer. And I'm proud that we have our DEI Leadership Academy that members can participate in. Also, our Rosemary Brinkley C-level leadership program. That is for those who are aspiring to be in the C-suite or could be in the C-suite already and just need to refine some of their leadership skills. And we have a board ready training that allows individuals who want to maybe serve on a board or whether that's a credit union or any other nonprofit. It really equips them to know what that commitment looks like and how to be an effective board boardsman or boardsperson. Again, between those programs and also our conference, our annual conference is a big deal. We have a lot of great programming during the conference, but more than anything, it's a great collection of individuals and moments. We often hear from our members and attendees who attend the conference that it's great to see people of color in one room, and they could be CEOs and leaders within our credit union movement. It's an experience like no other. And so we're proud of being able to provide that to our members and ultimately just make for a more complete membership experience.
All right. Well, you've been talking about, DEI, and yes, it's the eighth cooperative principle, and it's something, credit unions, have embraced. Could you share more about some of the other DEI efforts that your organization is doing?
Absolutely. So while AACUC has always been about diversity and inclusion, it really came to a head in 2020, as you can imagine. And that is when we started the Credit Unions Unite Against Racism initiative. And the full name is Commitment to Change Credit Unions Unite Against Racism. And from that initiative, it birthed a few programs. One is that DEI Academy for Financial Professionals. That's a 5-week program that starts with knowing yourself, being able to lead yourself, and then your organization and the community from a lens of inclusivity. The second part of our CTC has been our CTC Friday conversations. And so initially, those conversations, while all of them are, real talk, originally during the pandemic, with everything going on from a social perspective, social justice, obviously COVID, and some of the political unrest that we experienced, it was nice to be able just to have conversations that you may not have in the workplace about sensitive topics, whether that was racism, unconscious bias, just showing up as your authentic self. And so throughout the last few years, that series of conversations have evolved, but we always have some key learnings and takeaways and moments that we share on these conversations. So they take place the third Friday of every month. And occasionally we'll have some special ones. And I know we'll have a special one in December, so stay tuned for that. Okay. And then the last component of Commitment to Change is our credit card program. And so that's something that we're in the pilot stage, but we're looking to launch it more publicly here in the future. But we recognize that there may be individuals who either are credit challenged and may even not be comfortable going to their credit union, as an employee or a volunteer to get their card serviced from that organization. So we're offering a credit card that will allow people to overcome any credit challenges that they may have faced and really level the playing field from bridging that wealth gap. And so, our Commitment to Change initiative and diversity and inclusion, a lot of our programs stem from that initiative. But I will share with you, we also offer consultations. And so there are quite a few credit unions and other organizations that have reached out, and they recognize they want to be on a DEI journey, but they may not know where to start, or they want some feedback on the things that they're doing. And so we have a great team of individuals who provide some consulting services, provide resources and training to really match wherever that organization is, to allow them to have sort of a roadmap or a blueprint on where their DEI journey and transformation can take them, knowing that it's not cookie cutter, but it really makes us happy when credit unions reach out to us and trust us with being able to offer some insight in that area.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, I know you hold so many events throughout the year, and you've mentioned a few. Are there any other events in 24 you want to mention? I know you're having your annual conference. Would you tell us more about that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So the annual conference is still a work in progress, but I will say that it will be at the end of July, first part of August, and we're collaborating with CU Leadership. And so it will be hosted in Las Vegas, and we'll be able to do some exciting things because of that partnership. Like I mentioned, our annual conference is an event in and of itself with multiple events. We often have celebrations and award ceremonies. So every other year, we'll either have the Pete Creer Lifetime Achievement Award. And that is presented to someone in the credit union space who, has really committed and contributed and been truly impactful within our credit union movement. And so the year before last, that was given to Ty Muse. He's the president and CEO of Visions Credit Union and also a board member of AACUC now. And then on the alternate years, we have the Maurice R. Smith DEI Leadership Awards. And we just renamed that this year in 2023 after Maurice R. Smith. He has been a great board member and just a trailblazer all around, not only for AACUC, but for our credit union movement. And so it was nice to be able to recognize and honor him with renaming the awards. And so we were able to have that award ceremony during the conference this year. But we also have other events, some that take place during the conference and some earlier in the year. For instance, the African American Credit Union Hall of Fame. So that started off as a fundraiser for AACUC and has exploded to be able to recognize all sorts of individuals within our credit union space. And so we host that event during GAC. And so that will be this year, I believe, on March, the Tuesday of GAC. I won't give you a date because I might get that wrong. I don't want to get that wrong. But we will be hosting that at the Smithsonian for African American Culture and History. And sometime next year, we will be honoring young professionals. So we introduced the Commitment to Change Young Professional Leadership Awards the year before last. And so again, that's on a every other year basis. And what I love about that is AACUC attracts young people and young professionals. And we do that intentionally, but also indirectly. And so by honoring some of those young professionals who are really doing phenomenal things at such a young age, it allows us to recognize them, but let the world know who they are and give them a platform to shine. That's one thing I do recognize. Our President CEO, Renee Sadie-White, she often says AACUC is the organization that gives people their flowers when they are able to receive them and in due time. And so that's just another way that we can do that for young professionals throughout the year. So you asked me about events. And I shared with you a couple of programs. I shared our annual conference, the Hall of Fame. The wonderful thing about AACUC is we are not afraid to do a pop-up event or a pop-up activity to meet a need. And if I may, I'd love to share how we were able to do that 2 years ago. So our CEO and president, Renee Sadie-White, she was in a conversation with NCOA Chairman Todd Harper, a few individuals from Inclusive and others. They were at a dinner and they were talking about small credit unions. And we know that there's quite a few small credit union leaders, as well as the organization themselves, who are members of AACUC. And we all want to see small credit unions survive and thrive. And from a conversation over dinner came the Small Credit Union Summit, which was a one-day affair at our conference last year. This year in 2023, it was our second annual, and it was a full day dedicated to small credit unions. And we're talking 100 million in assets and below, to just get an opportunity to network among themselves and get training and topics and just education poured into them, knowing that the challenges that they face are unique to maybe larger institutions, but they're just as important and they serve a critical need within our credit union ecosystem. So that was something, at the beginning of 2022, we didn't have on the books, but we were able to spin it together and present it and produce it. And it was impactful. So our CEO does a phenomenal job of staying in tune with the needs, not only of our community, but the credit union at large. And if AACUC can be a conduit to fill that void, we step in.
Yeah. Dohnia, I appreciate the time. And I just want to give out a little shout. I was at the conference in July and it was the first time I had been there. It was fantastic. I truly enjoyed it. Looking forward to being there in Vegas in July. So I already have that on my calendar as well. So I will be there for that. I'm going to include a link to the website so that everyone can go and see all the education, all the resources, learn how you can support the organization as well.
Yeah.
So if there's anything you want me to include link-wise, please let me know. I'll be happy to do so.
Okay.
Any final thoughts for our listeners today?
Yeah, I appreciate the time today. I would welcome anyone and everyone to check out our website to learn more, reach out to us and follow us on social for all the latest and greatest. I don't think we were remiss in talking about anything other than, AACUC is a 501c3. We are appreciative of our members and our corporate partners, sponsors for our events, and those that also just donate to our organization because they recognize the value, they see the impact that we're having, and they're invested in our long-term sustainability. So just want to say thank you to our members and all of our supporters, and encourage anyone who is curious or interested to drop us a note, join our email list. We'd love to just be a part of your credit union or financial services lives. And quite honestly, this is a great time to join. Like I mentioned, AACC continues to evolve and grow, and we just introduced a new membership engagement platform. So I think you'll have an even more phenomenal member experience and be really able to network, whether that's with your chapter members or just becoming a thought leader and sharing your insights with the organization. So we welcome that level of engagement from our members and soon to be new members.
All right. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me today. And everyone, thanks for listening.